It's it's the final that Twitter trolls and accounts have been wanting for years. And by years, I mean like the last 12 months. This is the lazy man's CONCACAF semis Nations League recap because I'm on 4 hours of sleep because I had to pick up my friends from the throwback concert in downtown Toronto. So I am tired. I am literally rewatching the USA Mexico matchup right now. But guys, let's get into this real quick. Let's first talk about Canada. Canada 2, Panama nil. Goals by Jonathan David in the 25th minute, and then Alphonso Davies comes in the second half and puts it away. How does Canada look going into this final? They look rusty. Honestly, they just look like they were just rusty. Like their touch was off. Their ideas were just a tick too slow. There were moments where I think you can see the players who were in form or were playing and really pushing. Um, Looking at Richie Larea, Kamal Miller had good moments. Vittoria moving from side to side. Like those players, they looked like they were a little bit crisper. But to call this, it's a performance, right? Canada got the job done 2-0. Panama was a good challenge defensively for them. Panama is a good thorn for Panama. Bleh. I can't even think right now. Panama's a good thorn for Canada because I think stylistically they know how to try to take away things. And they try to take away the space. And in doing so, Canada had to be a little bit creative in terms of moving players. The goal comes off of a Nestacchio to Kamal Miller, who's out on the wing. And you can see if you watch a replay of that first goal, Jonathan David is pointing. He's saying, play it here. And he's setting up his run. Plays that wide. And then Miller sees the run, gets the beautiful ball inside. David runs through, puts it in, and goes. So you have that. And then very much Panama had its moments. Not many moments, but they have moments. Usually a Canada match, you're always going to have, if Canada's going to win a match or lose a match, there's always about that 15 to 20-ish minute spell where it seems like they're on their heels a little bit defensively. And that comes with advancing. That comes with, accepting some pressure. But Canada was able to do well enough. Boreal with some timely saves. The free kick in the first half was a bit of a lucky bounce. Hey, sometimes to be good, you got to be lucky sometimes. But Panama didn't do enough to really test and bother Canada. So that now we reach a point end. 2-0, and Canada's in the finals. Canada can't play like they played we can't play like that and expect a win versus Mexico or the U.S., who they're going to end up playing in the final. They need to be so much more clinical with their opportunities. And I think that's going to be important for them. You see the impact that Davies had once he gets stepped onto the pitch. Just his pace and everything he does just creates so many opportunities. But, it was a little bit of a quiet game for Tejan. Tejan, I think you need a little bit more from him. And also a player like Ishmael Kone, who I think you have to see more of. If Ishmael Kone can give a little more and can just play in that midfield a little bit better, especially combining. You were starting to see the chemistry between him and Eustachio go through. But I think the more that develops, the more it's good. But going to this final, it really comes down to how they want to approach it. Do they want to play this game just fully out and out? Or do they want to sit back and then play defensively, invite the pressure, counter, hit them on the counter, and then go from there? That'll be the interesting question. We'll find out because they have the United States in the final, beating Mexico 3-1. I've watched a little bit of the game so far. The U.S. looked good. The big thing for the U.S., if you're looking at it, is they're not going to have McKinney. They're not going to have Dest. I don't know if not having Dest hurts them. because Dest is more of that attacking fullback. So if you have to substitute that with Joe Scally, and this is where all the USMNT accounts that be like, yeah, Scally used to Scally owns Davies. He's in his back pocket. Look, I think he's a better set for them. So you're gonna go Scally and Robinson as your fullbacks. That's not a bad comp. But I think the midfield's where this is really gonna be interesting. There's a De La Torre. There's a. It really just comes down to that. I think it's gonna be Lucas De La Torre who comes in. Can he have a good enough game in terms of taking advantage of the space and how Canada looks defensively? Because I mean, on paper, I think most people can agree on this. I think from top to bottom, the U.S. has more talent. There's no one's gonna debate this, but consistently, Alphonso Davies is the best player in the region, and what he does to the opponents is a lot. I mean, Pulisic is a good player. Maybe needs more time for the club, but yeah, I think Davies offers more in that changes the game. His gravity on the pitch really is what it is. His gravity on the pitch creates so much more for his teammates. So the question comes down to, like, what do you do? I think for his debut, Balogun was fine. Had moments, had to find his space, understanding where the movements go. And I think that's where it's good having a player like Ricardo Pepi coming off the bench who scores. You have 2 Pulisic goals, and then Ricardo Pepi puts it away. And 18 fights, 95 cards. It felt like, like as much as we always joke here in Canada about like, whenever Panama plays Canada, there's the almost scuffle. Nah, this is heated, and U.S. is coming off, and that's the other interesting thing to think. How does the U.S. look a couple days after a very emotional game? Because there's a degree where the U.S. and Mexico, they know that they're rivals. And Canada's kind of here like, woo, Canada's coming up here like, woo, like the new kid at the adult table at Thanksgiving. And there's a degree where, does the U.S. take them seriously? I think the fans do. Like I said, the Twitter takes will be glorious. I don't look forward to it, but hey, it is what comes with it. Ultimately, I think it comes down to, BJ Callan, coach for the U.S., was able to keep it simple enough, and his big players were able to play. You don't have Des, you don't have McKinney. How do you now approach this? Do you play this game as if you're just going to attack Canada, or do you play this game thinking Canada's going to come back? That's the mistake that Berhalter's made the 2 times they played. Thinking Canada was going to come out and play, and Canada just said, no, we good. Low bid block, let's do this. We right here. So how are they going to move that back and forth? It'll be an interesting game. I think right now, my prediction was if it's a USA-Canada final, it ends maybe 3-1 USA, 2-1 USA. But I don't know. It's very interesting. Top to bottom, again, like I said, I think the U.S. has more talent, but I think Canada definitely has the best player. And what Davies' gravity does on the pitch will be interesting. I think it's going to come down to, again, it's not going to be a it's not going to be a strictly Scally v. Davies battle. I'm assuming Scally will start. But I think it's going to come down to who wins the midfield here. In the last game, we saw Eustachio Kone midfield for Canada versus McKinney, Musa, and Coe midfield. Whoever can really do well to dictate that. I think Canada probably goes to a 3-person midfield and either puts in a Hoylett there or even an Osorio. Just depending on how they want to play. If they want to play quick in transition, a Hoylett could work. Or even an Osorio. Either one could work as your 3rd midfielder. If you want to play more so tight and just want to play more fully, those are good players to go either or. But man, it'll be interesting. Twitter will be on fire. Nothing will be great, but it's a final that I think the fans are excited for. Guys, in the comments, let me know who you're rooting for here. What are the keys for you? We'll have something up later, but I'm going to stop rambling now.